Morning, evening, day or night, kind or not to kind, ladies and gentlemen who quest or troll the wonderful land of YouTube. And my name is Trolumbo.
And my name is Metalaface.
Yes, and welcome to a new show that will be there on random occasions because, well, we like scheduling like the next person, but sometimes you just have to go with what you want to do. Yeah. So, Saturdays will remain the gaming days, but it won't just always be regular gaming where we do a funny moments video. Sometimes we will do something completely fucking different, and that is review a game. And there are two types of reviews that you will see. One, this thing that we don't have a name for, we could even just call it After the Honeymoon Period or something. Which is a really long title, so I don't know if we want to do that. But it's not a long title if you just take the title of the game afterwards. Unless you do something like Assassin's Creed Syndicate, that's already a long name. Fucking games, why do they have to have long names? Where we review some new games, but not just reviewing them, we play them up until the point where, well, we don't get tired of them, because otherwise we couldn't be doing this one. But some of them we will play, we will have played, or we will play up to the point where we get bored of the game. And that's why it's called After the Honeymoon Period. It's like after you've played through the game, and after you went through that initial one, you're like, oh, this game's awesome, nothing bad happens here. Well, we will review the game at the point where we start noticing, like, annoying stuff and inconveniences. Or things that just could have been better. And that will be this After the Honeymoon Period, or, for lack of a better name, this will be the name, let's just say that. Then we have a second one where we will go through our old gaming collection, ranging from, well, N64 games, which some we might have to buy back, and, well, NES games and whatever. All the games that we own or used to own, well, we'd have to find them again if we used to own them and not own them anymore. And yeah, we'll play through them, and that will be called Nostalgia Goggles, if that's a name that hasn't been taken. This time, we won't be doing an old game. We will be idiots that will be riding the hype train. All aboard the hype train, because... That doesn't sound hyped at all. So, the hype train's coming. Yay, hype. So, all aboard the hype train for Fallout 4 review. Yes! What do you want me to review first out of the game stuff?
Let's start with the gameplay.
Yeah, so a lot of people are, well, either into gameplay and story. Sometimes the story makes the game, sometimes the gameplay makes the game. This time, I think it's mostly the gameplay that makes the game. And that's, well, due to the fact that there's a lot of interesting stuff that you can do in the game. And not all of it being part of its first-person shooter aspect. A lot of it also having to do with some RPG-style aspects to the game, as you have customization. Then you have, well, the perks that you have and the upgrade system. And then for this game you also have the conversation options, which are also interesting. Here's a slight comparison to previous games. When it comes to combat itself, not much has been upgraded. There have been some new animations that I've seen, but I had expected a little more variation in attacks or something. And I can understand with guns that you don't have that many differences in attacks. I don't know if there's dual wielding, so I can't really say that the game is bad because it doesn't have it. That remains to be seen, so I can't do a full review on that yet. But from the animations that I've seen and the number of animations, I think it's somewhat lackluster still. I want to see more different attacks being done with different weapons. It's because you have a lot of weapons, so I can understand basically that the fact that you have a lot of weapons limits the amount of attacks that you have with each weapon. So I can kind of understand that, but I'd want to see more out of, especially out of a future game. It doesn't break the game for me, it's just that I expected a little bit more out of that. Apart from that, you have some perks in gameplay, and I have been working, most of my perks that I've invested in every level up have had to do with customization of weapons. So that's my level of expertise in this, I suppose. A new thing that you have is your settlement that you can upgrade. That's cool, but it's kind of a half-finished new product because I would have wanted more different walls and stuff that you could put up. Very different many different things that you could put in there. And a lot of the materials from the game are kind of missing in this building mode. There are mods for that if you have a PC, but we don't have a PC strong enough to play the game, so we had a console version. So yeah, we can't mod the game. Otherwise, problem solved. If you have a PC, I suggest buying this game for PC. Otherwise, well, buy it for your console, I suppose. Then make sure that your PC is strong enough to also run the mods, so better check that first. Otherwise, it doesn't matter which version of the game you buy. Then, apart from that, you have now weapon and armor customization that is greatly improved when you compare it to the previous games. The only thing that I would kind of see improved in perhaps the next game, if one comes out, if they don't decide to do a new franchise or whatever. The thing that I want to see is the fact that you could make unique weapons. And I know what you're saying. Well, you can do a lot with weapons and you can change them up so they become something that is almost unique. But I'm talking about more the look and the feel of the weapon itself as well. And for weapons that's somewhat interesting, but I think that's even more important for armor. You have like the armor looking weapon, you have the synth weapon, what I'm saying. You have like the combat armor, which is military looking, which has the military look and feel. The game is awesome. Then you have also synth armor, which is kind of white. It has a futuristic feel to it. Then you have the Raider, which looks like it comes from Mad Max, or it's just a walking scrap heap coming for you. So yeah, it has a cool look and feel to it, but you would want to be able to customize it so it looks unique, so it is your very own thing. And since this is not an online game, you would say like, yeah, that's just something you do for yourself, because, well, in online games you want to be a unique character, so you want to have your unique armor and stuff. So yeah, I can understand that for an online game it would be more important, but yeah, enough about that. Customizability should be somewhat expanded in a future game and made, well, more with uniqueness in mind, where you can add certain logos or something to your weapon and coloring so you can make it very much unique. Then you have the new power armor. I'm central, I like the old one, I like the new one, so I don't really take a stand there. I just would have liked more special colorings, like you have the flame job and that kind of stuff. I would have liked more of those. Because you can't really choose the color because it affects the strength of the armor. Your paint job kind of has an effect on it, which is, I don't know, I don't really like that aspect. The color should have been just a color. That's all I'm saying about the coloring, paint jobs. So, what do you want me to talk about now? I think I'm done with gameplay.
Then let's talk about the story.
Well, I haven't finished the main story, but that might be due to the story itself. Maybe it's not attractive or appealing enough. The side quests have got me more invested. I have a lot of fun with the side quests. I really liked getting Kate to the thing where she could kick her habit with Psycho, that kind of drug that you had there. I really thought that was an interesting thing to do. Also because I had discovered nothing in that portion of the map, so I had to do some traveling to get there as well, which made it interesting. You couldn't just warp in there and just walk a few miles and it's like, oh, I'm there. No, I had to go on a long epic journey to do that. It was kind of fun. So yeah, that's cool. But the main quest, something that they might have done wrong is make Sean a baby and name him Sean immediately, because maybe you would have been more invested if you could have picked the name. Maybe that's the problem that you have with the voiced protagonist, that then you'd have to have the guy or the girl that voiced the protagonist also voice all of the names. So it might have been more work hours for the voice actors, so that might have been the problem. But I'm like, I don't really have a problem with the voice protagonist, and I don't have anything against it, so they could have just not done it and then, well, had given you the option to name your kid whatever you want. Then the thing is, if they had made it like a 5-year-old instead of a baby, you could have some memories with it. Or even if they had like a 10-year-old, then you could have had some memories with it. I don't know. If you had a baby at like 18 and you had like a 10-year-old baby and then you were 10-year-old child and then you were frozen, that still could put your character at like 28 if they got their child when they were 18 themselves. Well, no, let's make it like a 19 or some, well, 29. See, that's not an old character. Could still play a 29-year-old character. Could still work. Who knows? Also, it's the future. Who maybe aging goes slower there. Oh, duh, you can play it around with that. So it didn't have to be a baby. You could have gotten it some memories, gotten it some backstory, so it was interesting. A baby has no backstory. It's born and that's it. The only backstory is that it got taken now. So yeah, I'm not invested in the story. I'm more invested in the side stories. And a lot of people have been complaining that the actual story is shit, but I've never been invested in any Fallout stories. Mostly been invested in the side stories. There's something lacking in main stories every time in Fallout, and this one apparently takes the cake as being one of the suckiest stories. And, well, I need to get back to you with that because I don't know, I haven't finished the game. But get off the story, we're gonna talk about something else. What do I have to talk about except for the story and the gameplay?
What about the atmosphere?
The atmosphere of the game.
Yeah.
Well, for the Fallout series, and I think that goes for, for the Elder Scrolls series as well, because they're comparable and they have their both are a similar game with a different atmosphere. And I think this game is really good at bringing the Fallout atmosphere. Everything looks good and it looks like it's in Fallout, and you have those weird things, weird jokes in the game as well. Like there was a guy that was a skeleton, because he died, and he was lying next to one of those mannequins, like female mannequins, that was nude, so it kind of looked funny. Looked like a guy was aware that the end of the world was coming, and he had like sex with a mannequin. I don't know, that's what it looked like to me. And you have those kind of funny implications in Fallout games, so, well, I have to commend the game for that. But apart from that, you also have the pipe guns. Now, I haven't seen pipe guns in earlier games. Maybe there was something that you have to make yourself, but I never made weapons. So I wouldn't know about that. The thing that you have there is, well, these weapons are not really that good, but they add to the atmosphere because they work within the game. It's like, oh, these guns look like somebody made them themselves. Here's where my problem with the music kicks in, though. You can see that civilization over these games, and especially now, you can see that civilization has been building up again. This game is somewhat further, at some points, than previous games were. And I'd like to see a rebuilding of civilization to a critical point, like perhaps if they go for a Fallout 5, they should make like at least one awesome city within the wasteland. That should be, to have like a fully functioning city in the next game, that would be awesome. Or, well, if they're gonna continue the franchise longer, maybe they could wait for the 6th one and slightly build it up, and then in one of the games have like a completely functioning city that's nowhere near what the rest of the wasteland is. Something that's completely locked off from the rest would be fucking awesome. Something that's really hard to get into. That would be cool. But the thing here is, and I was talking about the music, the problem is you have the music that they're listening to is mostly the music that remains from before there was, well, this nuclear fallout.
Mm-hmm.
And, well, some people have been saying that it would be cool to have metal and all those kind of genres in there as well, to see like that society has been building, like I told you. It would be cool to have society restart and make, well, their own music. It would be cool if Bethesda would actually go out and try to find people who can make instruments and try to have them make scrap instruments for artists that could make their own music. And that way they could make music with scrap instruments to include in Fallout like 5 now. Wouldn't that be awesome? Like actual music made with scrap instruments? Music that comes from this wasteland? There's people living in shit situations there. People who wanna make some modern type blues thing there. That could work. People who are really angry raiders could make some punk or metal with some weird electronic instruments that are made from scrap. All that kind of stuff would be cool, and that would add to the... Now we're kind of stuck with the older music, and I know it really works with the environment that they made, but it would be cool to also have that besides that. Like have the old world music, because you have the old world in the game, and you have the new rebuilding world. This new rebuilding world needs its own culture and doesn't really need to always look at the older culture. It would be cool to give it a culture of its own, like artwork and whatever kind of weird stuff. Now like the manuals that you have, like stories of a jerky vendor. I don't know. I don't remember the vendor thing magazines. Some of the magazines now look like they were made after the war, so that's also cool. Especially the artwork that you see passing when it's loading. So we really need to do that. We really need to have a separate culture for the post-war people and have them have their own music and give that its own radio channels. And I don't have a problem with them reusing songs from previous Fallouts. It would be cool if they just included all of the music from the previous Fallout games, like giving you a chance to receive Mr. New Vegas on your new special Pip-Boy that has like a really long wave receiver or whatever. No, I know what I'm talking about. I don't know radio science, so yeah, I'm just bullshitting here. It would be cool for you to get those old radios as well, but then you should have an equal amount of new songs. What they've done here is they included a lot of old songs and some new songs, so yeah, kinda 50-50 for me. And then you don't have any music from this new culture, post-war culture, so yeah, that's also kind of a problem for me. Apart from that, there's not much to say. The environment looks good, well, it sounds good with the music, but, well, I'm missing those things that I've said. I think I've completely gone through my review. I think I would rate the game a little lower than I initially did, but still a really good game. This has been my review of Fallout 4. I will catch you in the next review.
Thanks for watching our video. Did you like that video? Don't forget to like it if you like it. And if you don't like it as well. Leave a comment and share the video with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe and be real, Lolzosaurus. See you in the next video.